What would you do if the woman you loved, the one you built a life with, systematically dismantled your world piece by agonizing piece, all for a cheap thrill? I never thought I would find myself staring at a glowing phone screen at 2 a.m., the harsh blue light, illuminating a text message that wasn't meant for my eyes, a message that ripped the fabric of my reality into irreparable shreds. It was a Tuesday, the night everything broke, not with a bang, but with the insidious whisper of betrayal. The message, from a number I didn't recognize, spoke of a secret rendezvous and counting down the hours until we re-together again. My wife. Sarah was asleep beside me, her breathing even, her face serene, utterly oblivious to the earthquake that had just begun beneath our shared bed. I felt a cold dread seep into my bones, a premonition of the darkness that was about to consume us both. I knew, with chilling certainty, that my life would never be the same. If you genuinely enjoy our stories, please subscribe to the channel. Tell us where you're from and what time it is right now. It's always fascinating to know how far our story flows. The humiliation hit me first, a visceral punch to the gut that left me breathless. Sarah, my beautiful, vivacious Sarah, had been cheating. The thought was a venomous serpent coiling in my chest, squeezing the air from my lungs. For weeks, I dismissed her late nights, her sudden interest in new clothes, the way she'd flinch when I touched her. I'd attributed it to stress, to her demanding job as a marketing executive in downtown Chicago. I was a loyal husband, a man who believed in the sanctity of our vows, and the idea of her infidelity was a foreign, grotesque concept. But the text was undeniable. The serpent tightened its grip, whispering doubts, painting vivid, agonizing pictures in my mind. Her strange behavior became glaringly obvious. She'd guard her phone like a hawk, taking it to the bathroom, placing it face down when I entered the room. Her eyes, once warm and inviting, now held a distant, almost calculating glint. She'd snap at me for trivial things, then retreat into a shell of feigned exhaustion. One evening, I found a receipt for a high-end boutique on Michigan Avenue, a place she never shopped for a dress I'd never seen her wear. The date on the receipt was a Saturday when she claimed to be at a work conference in Milwaukee. The lies were piling up, forming a suffocating mound around me. The slow discovery was a torturous descent into hell. I started checking her phone when she was in the shower, a violation of trust I never thought myself capable of, but desperation had taken root. The texts confirmed my worst fears. His name was Mark, a senior partner at her firm, a man I'd met once at a company picnic. He was smug with a condescending smile and an air of entitlement. Their messages were sickeningly intimate, filled with pet names and plans for clandestine meetings. I found hotel reservations for a boutique hotel in the West Loop, just blocks from her office, for dates that coincided with her late nights. My hands trembled as I scrolled, each word a fresh stab wound. The receipts, the phone calls, the hushed conversations she'd have in the other room, it all clicked into place, a horrifying mosaic of deceit. Sarah, once my loving partner, transformed into a cold, manipulative stranger. She'd gaslight me, twisting my concerns into accusations of paranoia. "You're imagining things, David," she'd say, her voice dripping with false concern. "You're stressed. Maybe you need to see someone." Her eyes, however, remained devoid of warmth, reflecting only a chilling indifference. Mark, the affair partner, seemed to revel in his untouchable status. I saw him once, picking Sarah up from work, his arm casually draped around her waist as they laughed, oblivious to the loyal husband watching from his car across the street. They felt invincible, their secret world a fortress built on my pain. I broke down, truly broke. I spent nights staring at the ceiling of our beautiful Lincoln Park home, a home we'd built together, now tainted by her infidelity. The pain was a physical entity, a crushing weight on my chest. I lost weight, my eyes became hollow, and the joy drained from my life. My friends noticed, my family worried, but I couldn't bring myself to articulate the depth of my despair. I was humiliated, betrayed, and utterly lost. But amidst the wreckage, a flicker of something else began to stir, a cold, calculated resolve. I started gathering proof, meticulously, silently. I hired a private investigator, a discreet man named Frank who worked out of a nondescript office in the Loop. Frank's reports were damning, photos of Sarah and Mark, entering and leaving the hotel, timestamps, even audio recordings of their hushed conversations in a parked car. I installed spyware on her laptop, uncovering emails detailing their plans, their shared disdain for me, their fantasies of a future together. I consulted with a divorce attorney, a sharp, no-nonsense woman named Eleanor Vance, who listened patiently as I laid out the sordid details. "We'll build an ironclad case, David," she promised, her voice firm. "She won't know what hit her." The legal and social traps were set with surgical precision. Eleanor advised me on the intricacies of Illinois divorce law, particularly regarding marital assets and infidelity. We focused on financial misconduct, leveraging Sarah's lavish spending on Mark, expensive gifts, dinners, weekend getaways, all paid for from our joint accounts. I quietly transferred my personal assets into a separate trust, securing my future. Socially, I began to subtly distance myself from Sarah, planting seeds of doubt among our mutual friends, hinting at her unusual behavior and stress at work. I wanted her isolation to be complete when the truth finally detonated. The public exposure was orchestrated for maximum impact. I chose a charity gala, a high-profile event Sarah had helped organize, attended by Chicago's elite, including many of her colleagues and clients. It was held at the Art Institute, a place she adored. During the dinner, just as the main course was served, a waiter approached our table, carrying a sealed envelope. "For you, Mrs. Miller," he said, handing it to Sarah, her brow furrowed in confusion as she opened it. Inside was a single sheet of paper, a toxicology report, not hers but Mark's. It detailed a cocktail of prescription drugs, some of which were highly addictive, found in his system. The report was accompanied by a brief, anonymous note. "Ask your husband about the special wine you shared with Mark last week." Sarah's face drained of color. Her eyes darted to me, then to Mark, who was seated at a nearby table, oblivious, laughing loudly with a client. She knew I knew. The room, once buzzing with polite conversation, seemed to fall silent around us. Her hand flew to her mouth, a choked gasp escaping her lips. She tried to stand, but her legs gave out, and she collapsed, her chair clattering to the marble floor. The toxicology report, now crumpled, lay beside her. Whispers erupted, cameras flashed, and the carefully constructed facade of her perfect life shattered into a million pieces. The police were called, not for her collapse, but for the implications of the report and the anonymous note. The investigation into Mark's drug use and Sarah's potential involvement began that very night. The fallout was swift and brutal. The scandal erupted, splashed across local news and social media. Sarah was suspended from her job, then fired. Her reputation, once pristine, was in tatters. Mark, facing a criminal investigation, turned on her, revealing details of their affair and her complicity in his drug use, hoping for a lighter sentence.
Oh, yes.
Divorce proceeded, swift and merciless. Eleanor Vance ensured she received nothing, not the house, not the savings, not even her beloved car. She was stripped bare, legally and socially ruined, a pariah in the city she once conquered. I saw her once, months later, working as a cashier in a small grocery store on the outskirts of the city, her eyes hollow, her spirit broken. I often wonder if she ever truly understood the depth of her betrayal or the cold, calculated precision of my revenge. The end.